Hello, my magical nieces and nephews. It's your Aunt M. This is the first video episode that we're doing, and we're going to really dive deep today into the difference between sex magic and glamour magic, and really get to the nitty gritty of both things, because if your glamour magic has not been working, it's most likely because you're doing sex magic without even realizing it. Before we get into that, I just want to welcome all the new listeners. Thank you for making me top 20 in Malaysia yet again. I'm so happy to be in the company of all of you. Send me an email at howtobecomewitchpodcast@gmail.com. Once again, that's howtobecomewitchpodcast@gmail.com. Let me know where you're listening from. Send me a picture of where you're listening from. Nothing too evasive. And just let me know whatever questions you have. You can also leave me a comment here and let me know which topics you want to talk about, because this episode is actually brought to you from a listener. I won't say her name, but she had two really interesting questions. The first one was, she's stuck in a snowstorm. Miami is about to plunge into the 30s. So I have my mink, my vintage mink. It's not fresh mink, and it's going to be very cold. It's going to be very cold. It's so cold that my birthday brunch is going to be moved indoors tomorrow. My birthday was yesterday, January 30th, but we're celebrating tomorrow with a good brunch. It's a brunch at a haunted hotel. I was like, is there anything better? Is there anything more Aunt M than a haunted brunch? But her question was, it's so cold and we have all these candles. Can you tell me what to do, how to dress a candle? So for my subscribers, I'm going to leave the link in the episode description. For my subscribers, I'm going to, where are they? I'm going to show you exactly how to dress a candle. I have the herbs and the candles here. So if you're a subscriber, you're going to get a demonstration on how to dress a candle. And subscriptions are only $2.99 a month. That brings you into the online coven. So I'm having an event February 24th. Where are those candles now? February 24th. It's going to be on Eventbrite. I'm also going to leave the link. That's going to be $25. But if you are a coven member, it's free. And then after, the workshop is how to do your first tarot card reading. So if you don't know how to do a card reading at all, this is the perfect workshop for you. I'm going to show you how to open the cards. I'm going to show you the difference between anxiety and intuition, and that nagging question all rookies get of, is this card for me? And then I'm going to show you how to do a quick yes or no reading, and then another short reading. So you're going to learn how to do the tarot two different ways. You can do that because it's a very anxious time, or if you are very hard pressed for money, you have no other options. I'm going to show you how to do a card reading so that if you want to go live on TikTok and do one, you can, but you have to specify that you're very new to this. So we are going to really start learning in the coven. So you're going to learn how to dress a candle today, and then I'm going to go deeper into all the topics that you want. And then on the 24th, after the workshop, the coven members get a tarot card reading for free, and then it's going to be office hours where you just ask me whatever you want. I'm not going to have an agenda. You tell me what you're curious about. So you're going to get into the workshops for free. You're going to get specialized content with videos, and then you're also going to get office hours every month. So that's a steal for $2.99. I remember back in the day when I used to go to like sound baths or tarot workshops, it would be $25 a pop. I don't believe in gatekeeping. I'm doing the coven and charging for it because I want to make sure that there are some unsavory people who will not be able to join the coven because I'll be able to see their faces and return their money. And, you know, not everyone has great intentions, and I would like to keep them out, and that would be the energetic boundary is the $2.99 a month. So we have all of that taken care of. So Brittany asked about dressing the candle. Sorry, I said I wasn't going to say your name. She asked about dressing the candle, so I'm going to show you now. And if you're stuck in a snowstorm and you are like, what can I do? Listen to some past episodes. And then make a list of questions and then ask me when we do the Coven office hours. If you really are stuck and you're bored or the people you're with are annoying, do what I used to do during that time, because we as Floridians go through hurricanes almost every season. And how I used to pass the time is I would have a deck of cards, playing cards, tarot cards, whatever, and I would try to kind of nurture and test my intuition by see whatever the next card would be next. So if you have Loteria cards, that would be great. If you have tarot cards or playing cards, you can do that. I actually would recommend starting with the Loteria cards if you have them, but if you have tarot, those would be good because you have to start getting into the habit of, I know this is going to sound so hokey, get into the habit of communicating with your cards. So you should be sleeping with your cards under your pillow for the first 3 days that you get them. They do not have to be a gift. You can just buy them and then, you know, sleep with them under your pillow for 3 days and then start communicating with them. Start learning, you know, the feel of the cards in your hand and everything like that. If you have no power, if you're stuck with people you don't like, this will pass the time. I promise you. And it's the best way to build your intuition is to keep on testing it, because you have to learn in your body the difference between intuition and anxiety. But we will get to that in more detail. We'll get into more detail during the workshop. I'm so excited. But today's topic is glamour magic, because Brittany asked me how to do a glamour. I'm not going to get into her specific question. I might if I accidentally let it slip. But I thought, you know, I think glamour magic is so misunderstood because there's so many people on TikTok who, you know, it's basically rage baiting, like, you know, do you want to attract the one you love? Do you want to be the prettiest girl in the room? Do you want to have a whole bunch of followers? Blah, 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 blah. And they're always trying to sell, because magic is very simple. It's more community-based than anything else. And for a lot of scammers on TikTok and beyond, they sell you this idea of manifestation because they give you all the right steps, and then if it doesn't work, it's on you. So it's kind of a win-win for them. Big promises and don't have to deliver. That's amazing for them. But a lot of them have confused glamour magic and sex magic. Yes, if you are glamorous, you're going to have an easier time, you know, getting the hibbity-dibbity, but glamour magic is more Audrey Hepburn and sex magic is more Marilyn Monroe, and they're both icons still, like, God, like 60 years later? 70? Time is flying. But they each have a role to play. So, if you're not careful, if you can, like, kind of mesh together glamour and sex magic, you're just going to get a mixed bag. Keep them separate. So what is the difference? Glamour magic is your presence, is your aura, is, you know, the way that you command a room. And I love Audrey Hepburn. My mother used to call me Audrey. She was skinny because she was in part of the Dutch resistance in the war, World War II. And she was very skinny. She had to eat tulip bulbs. Like, it's, you know, she unsurprisingly got stomach cancer later on in life, as did most of the survivors, because it really ruins your stomach. Anyways, that was a tangent. So she was deathly skinny, but she was commanding the stage as a ballerina because of her presence, of her aura, of her glamour. You know, you don't have to be the best looking person in the room. The actual more voluptuous, sexy dancer was like, I've got the best tits on stage, and this scrawny bitch is getting all the attention. So it's a different, you know, source of energy. So it's very much your aura, it's very much your presence, it's very much how you present yourself. Sex magic is really wonderful. I just want to say we're sex positive here. Like, sex workers, more than welcome in the coven. Sex work is real work. And I'm not entertaining any other opinion about that. That's a hard line. Sex magic, or O manifestation, or the O ritual, fuel spells. So for those of you that don't know about O magic, it's basically either with yourself or with another person, a partner. When you orgasm, you say the name of what you want out loud. And that energy works because you're so deeply relaxed afterwards. So sex fuels your spells. Again, you can do it with yourself or with partners. Let the other person know what you're doing. I don't recommend using sex magic to kind of trap or keep the partner that you're, you know, doing sex magic work with, because they may just be thinking, oh yeah, I'm just digging out this chick, and they don't know that they're part of magic. And some people get really weirded out if they don't know they're part of a spell. I call them babies, but whatever. So that's sex magic. So, you know, when you got great legs and you're showing them, you got a great chest and you're showing it, you're, you know, really vamping it up. That's all well and good, but that's sex magic. We're going to talk about glamour magic today, and I'm going to show you how to enchant your nail polish. This is Storyteller. I love Chanel. Perfumes, and my little makeup bag by my Charlotte Tilbury. This is very Victoria. But I'm going to show you how to enchant all of that. But I want to make it very clear. This is another misconception about glamour magic that we're going to get into today. Glamour magic is more akin to color magic than it is to sex magic. Yes, you can use glamour magic to, you know, get your fuel for, you know, a manifestation through sex. Like, you can do that. But I'm always surprised that a lot of people miss glamour magic is about bringing out, you know, what's the best in you. What part of you is so gorgeous that it will make other people stop and stare. And everyone has at least one great feature. I had a friend, she had, you know, her best feature was her smile, and it was really magnetic. And then I have another friend who's just, she always gets mistaken for Gwyneth Paltrow when we would go on Lincoln Road back in the day. And she, you know, she was all gorgeous. I was telling my bestie this story. Then she showed me a picture of a little girl when I was helping her move one day. And I was like, who's that? She goes, that's me. And I was like, what do you mean that's you? That's not you. That little girl looks nothing like you. And then she gave me the look that you always get in Miami when, you know, someone doesn't want to tell you how much plastic surgery they've had, but now they're in a position to admit it. And, you know, she was so gorgeous, but she had a little, you know, a little doom and gloom to her, which normally would be fabulous, but it was kind of more of the variety of, you know, I'm sad and I'm going to take it out on you vibe, you know, which some people are into. I happen to not be into it. But even though she was technically gorgeous, she didn't really have the magnetism that she could have really kind of harnessed and nurtured with Glamour Magic. So you really have to see that Glamour Magic is bringing out what is the best in you. And I promise you, you have at least one good feature. You know, we all know someone who's a butterface, you know, not that great of a face, but sick body. Sick, sick, sick body. I wish that I looked a little bit more glamorous today. Just in time for my birthday yesterday, I have, you can probably see it here, a sty, and then I have one here that's related to all the, you know, strikes against my hip and how I've been icing and all that. So I wanted to come on with a full face of makeup, but the best that I can do is my makeup and just having my nails done and my Cartier inspired ring. My mink is in the back, and then my 24 roses that my bestie got me for my birthday. I mean, how gorgeous. How gorgeous. Hold on, let me grab the tea. So I'm going to actually wear my glasses for the next few minutes because I am not able to put in my contacts. So again, we got to work with it. But there are 4 very unique ways to personalize Glamour Magic, you know, which is the offshoot of Color Magic, which is the offshoot of Aura reading. So, when you start delving into Color Magic, you should, yes, deeply consider your aura, but you also need to think about what season you are. So, it used to be big in the 70s. I got into it a little bit in the 90s. And then my soul sister, Andrea, she really got into it. I believe it was last Christmas. And she's always into the cool stuff. She introduced me to human design, which changed my life. And she is a really, really big champion of knowing which season you are. And so that's actually why my hair right now is in transition between jet black into red. It used to be a little bit brighter, but the lady messed up at the salon yesterday. It's a whole thing. But there are 4 seasons, you know, spring, summer, fall, and winter. I did not need to look at the sheet to know that, but I'm going to give you a rundown of each season, and we're going to, you know, see which one is best for you. If you're not sure, you can use, there's these templates on Etsy to kind of show which color is best for you. And I'm actually going to, if you're not sure, you can come and we're going to talk about the colors that look best for each season. And go from there. So again, keep in mind, I am a true summer. I thought I was a soft winter. And, you know, there's variations. Don't upload your photograph into ChatGPT and ask which season you are, because it will give you the, what did Andrea say? It'll give you the overtones rather than the undertones, and you need to really focus on the undertones. So let me go through this list. I'm so excited. Okay, so spring. Spring, gold looks better on you than silver, so check out the jewelry. See what works better for you. The colors for spring are peach, coral, warm pinks. Ivory works better than white, so grab your ivory pieces. And if black just washes you out, you're most likely a spring. So again, for spring, it is peach, coral, warm pinks. Grab whatever you have in your closet, put it next to you. If it drains you, then, you know, don't use it again. And also don't go out and buy a new wardrobe. Like, just get a couple of pieces or get an accessory. You can get like a little scarf, like a foulard, and put it on. I was actually gonna wear my scarf. I don't know if I should pause the recording and go get it. But there's that. Let's see. So you have spring, and then let's go to summer. Summer is very cold and muted. I have a friend named Summer. Cold and muted. Silver is your best jewelry. Dusty rose, lavender, soft blues. And the thing about summer is it's a very understated glamour. It's very nothing too bold, nothing too abstract, because the goal with glamour magic is not to look super sexy, it's to look well rested. And like back in my day, it used to be really cool to be like, oh, I get by on only 4 hours of sleep. And now, like, the real glamour is not constantly trying to be productive. It's to look rested. Like Dakota Johnson was like, yeah, I get like 12 hours of sleep a night. That's the height of glamour. I mean, that's hero, okay? So summers are very cool, very muted colors. Again, silver, dusty rose, lavender, soft blues. Nothing too bold. I was going to wear my scarf. I have my Louis Vuitton scarf, and then I have my lavender little foulard, and you know, something close to the face. So, you know, like a nail polish or something like that. If you are not in the financial place to get a couple of pieces, there are mulberry ties on Amazon, little scarves. You can play around with like a $2 scarf. And you can get some jewelry, just whatever it is, whatever works. Fall is very earthy, very warm. The fall profile is, you know, would look absolutely gorgeous in rust, olive, and mustard, which is their fall colors, like so fall colors. All of them are, but these are the colors I associate with fall. Cream looks better on you than stark white because stark white will wash you out. And the thing about fall is you get to play with a lot of cool textures. So I love fur, vintage fur. I love cashmere. I just got some stuff from Quince for my birthday. And I'm going to personalize it with some patches that I found on Etsy. So if you are, this is the tip because I thought about it at the park today. If you are really not able to get any new clothes for whatever reason, go to Etsy and get some patches. And I'm going to get a tailor to put on my patches because I am, you know, I want to make sure that everything's straight because if you know me, I have a really hard time with formatting documents. I usually just get my editor to format or, you know, someone else because I can't see the difference. Like if you ask me to hang up a picture, I'll hang it up crooked and think that it's straight. You know, so spatial recognition is not my strong suit at all. I actually was working at a contract and they really wanted me to focus in on formatting, so I found another contract. So if you don't really have the money, get a patch, get a new, you know, a little chip, get a new lipstick, get a new nail polish. You can get it at the dollar store for like $1 each. Play around with it, you know, no one's gonna know. You're gonna look so well rested. They're gonna ask you, did you just come back from Saint-Tropez, rather than, is that nail polish from the dollar store? As long as you look good and you're gonna feel good and other people are gonna notice and want to know your secret. So winter, which is what I thought I was, because I love really, as you can tell, I love really dark colors. So winter is very high contrast. So if you've been seeing on TikTok the high contrast, this is what it is. Very bold colors, fuchsia, emerald. If you really love a bold pattern, something geometric, you know, something abstract, you know, what is it? What is the, like a Poochie print? Ah, a Poochie print. Then winter profiles can really play around with that. So let's go over it again. So spring, very, very warm. Okay, you stay away from the darker colors, focus more on peach, coral, and warm pinks. Summers, very cool, muted colors. Focus on dusty roses, lavenders, soft blues, nothing too bold. Play into the softness. Summer seasons you just can be, and that's fabulous. Fall is very earthy, very warm, very just, oh God. I love fall. Even if I weren't such a spooky girl, I love fall. And at some point, I'm going to show you guys my Halloween sofa. So, sorry, I'm right by the window, but I have a sofa that's all Halloween pillows and mouth pillows, and it's very fun. But fall is just such a great season, such a great season to fall in love during. But that's fall. And then winter, very high contrast, fuchsia, emeralds, sharp lines. I would venture to say the winter palette kind of veers a little bit more into like the sexy sex magic kind of vibe. But whatever it is, as long as you use the right colors, either in a lipstick, a nail polish, get some jewelry. I don't know if you can tell, my panther has green eyes like I do. And you can play around with something like that. Nothing has to be expensive. I remember I was friends with a girl in 7th grade, and she didn't have a lot of money. In fact, my mother used to have to pass her mom a couple of bucks to help with getting groceries for them. And anyways, she really made it work. She figured out what her colors were, and she rocked them. Her color was like a mustard, so then she would have been fall. So she was this gorgeous Italian girl, perfect body, but the way that she enhanced her coloring with color magic, my God. The guys, they used to walk down the hallway drooling over her, and they didn't know that she was living in a hotel, a motel. So she had that glamour down pat, so you don't need a lot of magic to really tap into color magic. Just work with your coloring, and it really does make a difference. Once my hair evens out a little bit more, I'll be able to show you guys. But those are all the profiles: spring, summer, fall, and winter. And your natural aura is going to be one of those colors, because your aura is not going to go against your natural energy. It really is not. It's really, really not. And if you want me to do an episode on how to see auras and aura magic, leave a comment for this episode. But your aura is magical, and that's color magic, aura magic, and glamour magic are very, very tied together. But for a lot of people, perception is reality, and you want to be perceived as having it together, well rested, like glamorous. And if you're going through a spot right now, I think has been really hard for a lot of us who unfortunately went through the pandemic. I went through it here in Florida, where people did not believe in the pandemic, so they were always like touching you, and so you wanted people to like stay away as much as possible. And then we were all working from home, and I loved it. So I got to live in my pajamas 24/7. I had my day pajamas, my night pajamas, my lounge pajamas. And then I transitioned into sweatpants and lounge suits, and a lot of cashmere and fur. And then, what was it, 1 or 2 weekends ago, I had to go get a pair of jeans. It's before I hurt my hip. I had to get a pair of jeans, and I was like, I don't even know what's in style anymore. The last jeans I got were 2017, and so they were wildly outdated. I gave them to one of the maids here in the building because I noticed she was, wearing the same jeans over and over. And I at first thought, well, maybe it's part of the uniform. And then when I realized it wasn't, I was like, well, let me give her these. Like, they're not the most stylish, but they're still pretty good quality. And then I went and I bought a pair of jeans, and I was like, I was driving back home, and I was like, when was the last time I wore hard pants? And it's been a while. So, it was the pandemic, and then I had fibroids, and I wasn't diagnosed for 2 years, and then I had surgery, and that took forever to heal from, because I had fibroid surgery on a Friday, and then I went back to work on a Monday, the following Monday. So, not my best decision. And I work for a good company, so, toxic conditioning from the 90s. It's better that even if you show up and just give 1%, it's still better than 0%. And today's company culture is, we want you here if you're effective. So if you have really been stuck with sweatpants and baggy shirts, and you're a bunch of Madam Sandlers, which I was, it's okay. It's okay. If you want to update your wardrobe, like in time for Valentine's Day, just, upgrade. What I did is, my uniform is long sleeve black shirts. I have like a bajillion, and I just upgraded them a little bit, and it doesn't have to be expensive. This is not a plug, but Quince has reasonable options, and their cashmere is only 1 ply, but that's perfect for me because I'm in Miami. So, focus more on tweaks than an overhaul, and, go through your closet, see, well, which colors look the best on me. Take a picture, be like Cher and Clueless, take a picture. Go to Etsy and see the color palettes that people use and put them here. Ask your friends, which color do you think I look best in? There's so many things that you can do. And it's really about feeling your best, rather than, trying to have a perfect body or a bikini body or whatever. Work with your color profile, work with your aura. I promise you, once you start getting compliments, you're going to be like, hell yeah. Okay, so before I end this episode and do another plug of all the upcoming events, I'm going to show you how to enchant your lipstick. This is Poets of Berlin. This was actually David Bowie's favorite perfumery. So it's Wilhelm Perfumery of New York, and the scent is Poets of Berlin. And I have a very hard time with fragrance after I had COVID, so this doesn't kill me. I don't wear it a lot. You can also get some oils at Whole Foods, some perfumes, or my favorite perfume is Lost Cherry by Tom Ford, and what is it? Oh my God, why am I blanking out? It's the Joe Malone patchouli scent, but I know patchouli, you think stinky, dirty deadheads, which I am a deadhead. R.I.P. Bob Weir. Why am I blanking out on the name of it? I'll put it in the show notes. But you can go on Amazon and you can find oils for your favorite scent. So dupe oils. So let's say, I don't know where I put my Chanel. Whatever. So let's say that you want to enchant your perfume. So what you would do is you would get, so I live in Florida, so it's easier for me. Get a broken shell, and there's tons of them. You can order them online. You just need one. And what you do is you stick the perfume or the lipstick or the, eyeshadow, eyeliner, whatever, in the shell. And then you kind of how do I say this? Kind of think about what you want that perfume, that accessory to provide for you or perform for you. And so you stick it here and you stick it overnight. You can be in any phase of the moon and really think about what you want this to accomplish, achieve, whatever. And the trick that I've taught you guys about manifestation before is to think about what's going to annoy you, because this idea that you're going to be happy all the time, like when I found out my podcast was number 15 in Malaysia, it took me a very long time to kind of come down to earth. You know what I mean? And so that feeling is kind of scary for your nervous system, but your nervous system is used to being annoyed because we're annoyed on a daily basis. So figure out like, oh God, everyone asks me which perfume I'm wearing and I don't want to tell them, or oh my God, are they going to discontinue my scent? So pick an annoyance, pick a minor worry. So you have the perfume here, stick it here, and really supercharge it up on your altar. You can put a little candle here if you want, or put a candle everywhere else. Or what you can do is just leave your perfume on your altar, and, you know, kind of let it infuse there. During a full moon, let it infuse the energy of a full moon. Because remember, a full moon is about celebrating in the good times. Full moon is not about releasing what no longer serves you. Like that's my pet peeve. You know, so charge, like when people charge their crystals during a full moon, charge your lipstick, charge your eyeliner, your perfume, whatever it is, charge it up. And that's really what it is. And so if you have like a lotion you like, you know, you can, you know, do the same, or you can put it in your body with little hearts, the name of the person that you like. If you want to like do that with your concealer, which I couldn't put on because, my God, my face hurts so much from these dyes. You can put, like, when you're putting on your, you know, your concealer or your, you know, foundation, just do it in a heart and then blend it in. And then you can also do that with, like, if you really love like a vintage fur that you found at the thrift store, put that on your altar. You know, like, your altar is going to be a little crowded, but, you know, you can stick it in the seashell, which is what I do, and kind of go from there. So again, put it in a little cutie bag. You know, I got this one from Ipsy. Some of those bags were so ugly this season. So let's see. And speaking of seasons, I don't know if you've seen the new Schiaparelli or the Valentino collection. Oh God, I am such a fashion girly. I just, speaking of Glamour Magic, I just started getting back into, you know, watching The Real Housewives and watching fashion shows. I used to be known as a fashion girly. I didn't have a lot of money, but I probably should have told that story rather than my friend that was living in a motel. But I didn't have a lot of money, so I thought the fastest way for me to look glamorous was with thrifted fur coats. And I thought it was a winter, so I wear these bright red lipsticks. Yeah, and, you know, I would get compliments. And I remember one day my sister, one of my bajillion sisters, my full one, one of my full ones, she got me this Coach bag that was just not my style. And I remember I was like, well, I mean, let me try it out. It might work. And I remember another teacher coming up and being like, oh no. And I said, no, it was a gift. She goes, was it a gift from another teacher? Because you shouldn't be wearing it. That's not you at all. So people liked, you know, that I would make an effort to dress up and everything like that. And, you know, it took a little sleep between the pandemic and the fibroids, and now it's back. And I just, like, after this, I'm going to watch the Schiaparelli and Valentino show on YouTube. Oh, I'm so excited. But that's how you figure out which profile you are. You know, the colors that I listed, go and try them up against your skin. You can find the templates on Etsy. And if you really want to dive deep, you can find some videos here on YouTube. here on YouTube. I'm not on YouTube, but yeah, you can really, start focusing on the color. When I, like I know when I have my jet black hair and I'm wearing all black, I know that I'm getting down to business. I will always have my Chanel Storyteller nails. I love it. I love it. It's my one piece of luxury and glamour, and it was especially essential to my mental health when I was recovering from surgery. So Glamour Magic is about feeling good so you can look good, so everyone else can kind of want to know what your secret is. So let me know which questions you have. Drop them in the comment section. You can also email me at howtobecomewitchpodcast@gmail.com. Once again, that's howtobecomewitchpodcast@gmail.com. Let me know where you are listening. If you can, send in a picture. I would love to see a picture of your pets. I thought the dog would be more into being on camera because she loves to be on camera when I'm on a work call, but she's dead asleep. And then let me know which questions you have, especially, and let me know that if you're a Coven member, so I can incorporate your questions into the next video. So Coven members, thank Brittany for asking me about dressing candles, because that is inspired the video that I'm going to record next. So remember, I said this last week and I probably sounded a little upset because I was. There was a creator on TikTok who wasn't answering questions but was hawking their templates and their checklists, and they weren't answering questions. And that to me is horrific. If you are positioning yourself in a teacher, in a position of authority in any way, you need to be able to answer questions. And it doesn't matter how many times someone has answered the question. And I just happened to get upset because I was in the classroom for 12 years, and then I was an adjunct professor for 3, and I was in marketing for 15 years, and I've been doing instructional design for 5, so I know how to get a point across. So if you ask me a question, I'm going to give you the answer. If you ask me a bajillion times, I'll figure out different ways to tell you so that you understand. And sometimes when people ask questions, it's just because learning is such a vulnerable spot to be in, such a vulnerable state, that they just need the reassurance that they knew the answer. And that's how a lot of my students, really did well on standardized tests. They knew how to write an essay because I built that trust. You build trust with answering questions. So I'm always happy to answer questions. So leave them in the comments so the algorithm will find favor with me. So leave them in the leave them in the comment section. Leave me a rating if you love this episode. Join the Coven if you can. It's $2.99 a month. Again, we meet every month, office hours. You'll get the workshops for free. And so we're going to do 2 tarot card workshops, how to give your first reading, and then I'm going to show you guys on camera how to make Florida water. Real Florida water, not the stuff that they sell you in the stores. That's basically a liquid Ouija board. So that's all I have for you. So again, you have the 2 different ways to reach me. And thank you for listening. And especially just want to say once again, thank you to Malaysia for, wow. I mean, I still think about it every once in a while, and I'm like, wow, number 15 in spirituality in Malaysia, like in that category, like, wow. But yeah, I'm going to keep on yapping. So have a great rest of your day. And also, I want to just say thank you to Kayla for being the first listener to wish me a happy birthday. She's in a country where my birthday was 12. She was experiencing my birthday 12 hours before I was. So thank you for that. That really, really meant a lot. So you guys, thank you for joining me, and let me know which other questions you have, and have a magical week. Take care. Bye.